Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. This guy isn't just a guest. I don't even consider him a guest no more. It's like family dropping in unannounced when it comes to this guy right here. Man, we done seen him all over the travel channels, the food networks. He's been all over the world. One of the most standout things about this guy is he has a really beautiful personality. It's great when you meet people behind the camera and you realize that, damn, this is somebody I would hang out with, whether he was on TV or not. But the fact that he's on TV helps a lot because somebody got to get the bill. Please welcome him back to the show, citizens. The one and only Adam Richman is here. He's back.
Thank you for that beautiful intro, man. That was very, very thoughtful, man. Thank you.
Yo, it's been a minute, bro. How you been?
Too long.
Yeah, you look good. I like the hat.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Yes. I'm going to be delivering newspapers in 1909 after this interview. So I gotta thank you. I'll be here all week. Tip you waiting. Try the video.
Adam is one of the few people that could compete with you, Sway, with the hat game. I must say.
Oh no, I cannot compete with Sway for a hat game.
You won't. Not.
I just have a large head, big ears, and a bald spot, so that's why I have a lot of hats.
Yeah, but where you get your hats from, though? Where do you shop for?
It depends. Hats? This one I got in London. Sometimes Hat Club. Sometimes I love minor league baseball hats. I think I want to support grassroots, and they have the coolest mascots. And then one time I went to the Lower East Side. And I went in. I said, "Do y'all have those big, obnoxious, wide brim hipster hats?" And the guy was like, "I have just the thing," and it was exactly what I was looking for. So I copped the Stetson. I guess I spent a couple $100 on the Stetson. I don't remember how much it was, but I mean, it's a real Stetson that you gotta take care of. But I probably spent more of that on the surgery to fill the bald spot. So
you did that?
Did you? Yeah, man. I fully copped to it, 100%, man. 100%. And I did it before the technology like really caught up. Now, people getting that crypto hair. Like I had like the analog, like seashells and dollars hair, but like I didn't, you know what I mean? So no, I did it. And I had a doctor that was a little bit at the cutting edge. And like, I mean, it's always a race against time, but I have to do my MASH 4077 camouflage at the top. You make sure the flash yarmulke is covered for both dates and filming. And I do the best I can with what it is I have, man. Isn't that what Mo says at the end of Umi says? He says, "I'm doing the best I can with what it is I have."
My Umi says, "Shine your light on the world." Shine your light for the. Yo, you mentioned dating. I never even. I feel like we might have tapped on that in the past, but I
always dip and dodge because I just find that people, when I mention family or I mention anything, because as many people will say something nice are going to say something not nice. So that's why I've always been real cagey about that stuff. Because it's like I say, I went vegan for 6 months. You son of a bitch. Then I go, you know what I mean? I showed a picture of my cousin at bar mitzvah. Look at this little bitch. It's like he's a 13-year-old kid getting a bar mitzvah. And then like people just like went in. So that's why I always just try to like focus. It's like people think it's like me just trying to be like, he wants to plug his show and who doesn't? But it's like, I just find that the less people know, the less they can attack. Like, yes, I'm still fat from the quarantine. Yes, I admit
you still fat. Yo, look at this. I bet your dates all expect you to cook, though, right?
That's what I'm saying.
I love cooking for people, though. I think that's like one of the purest forms of love because it's like I'm making this thing that you can nourish you, that can appeal to so many different senses at once. And that's kind of what got that's what got me into food. It's got the Food Journal, it started it all for me in 95. All started from a place of just like the language of food and like the love. And like I had a really crappy breakup and I bought like a blank notebook to write really like crappy college breakup poetry, like really like lame ass, like, oh, my heart bleeds tears and steel into my eye, like whatever. Oh, and then like I went to college in Atlanta and I would drive deliberately to neighborhoods of people that didn't sound like me, look like me, whether it was Somalian neighborhoods or, Nigerian neighborhoods in College Park or Asian neighborhoods in Buford Highway and Chamblee, or going to a Baptist church for like a meet and three that they were having to raise money. and Conyers or something. And so I drove around and I found the place, and it was like writing about like the vibe and the food that allowed me to get into the feelings. Cause you know, I couldn't just sit there and be like, dear diary, I'm sad. I'm not shitting on people who journal. Please don't make that clear. That's just not me.
No,
so
journaling
cautious.
is very therapeutic. But I also feel like you can get taken advantage of when you are that poppin' like chef that cooks for everyone. Like I remember in college having conversations on varying philosophies with my girlfriends because they would use men just for food. And I was like, or even like with Heather B, sometimes I feel overprotective of Heather because everyone's like, Heather, when you cooking? But nobody's saying they gonna pay for it. You know what I mean?
Good point.
These foodies ain't loyal. I'm choosing my words carefully. I've had to go on Sway and apologize for shit in the past. I choose my words carefully now. Your boy done learn. That's gross.
Yo, you so cautious right now. Everything you do, you put a disclaimer. Everything you say, you put a disclaimer.
Not financial advice.
He apologized to people who journal. I'm sorry, I didn't mean nothing by it.
I know, right? All of a sudden, Journal stands up in the mentions like, yo, man, I'm coming at you, Ben's blazing. You know I keep that thing on me. Got that Bic.
So with
Got
that Sharpie
pilot.
kid, yo,
Got
look
that
at that.
pilot.
This is a good thing your camera didn't just fall right there and we just saw lines of coke or something. You know what I mean? That would have been ugly.
No.
Hey, so let's talk about Adam Eats the 80s, man. I promise you, man, in the 80s, oh, man, that's where I first discovered It's It, the ice cream sandwich. That's when I could first afford a It's It. You remember that It's It? Yeah,
oh, man. See,
yeah,
that was a more West Coast thing, wasn't it?
It might have been a West Coast thing. We used to it's an ice cream sandwich, Tracy, that it's two big cookie wafers. In the middle of it is a big chunk of ice cream. It tastes amazing as a kid. My young palate loved that. I had It's Nestle Crunches, whatchamacallits. These were all my go-to. Captain Crunch, you know, I was into the Crunch Berries. I was into, they had a peanut butter. Yeah, a peanut butter Captain Crunch.
Oh, yeah.
All of that stuff,
That's
man.
a deep cut.
Nasty ass apple pies used to buy for 25 cents. Yeah, Hostess
apple pies.
Yeah. All
Amen.
of that stuff, man. Well, we
And
killing ourselves.
No, you know what? That's the thing that's so fascinating. If you that Wu-Tang movie of Mikes and Men, I love because Ghostface always been one of my favorite MCs, and then to hear Ghostface, he's like rhapsodizing about his brother in a wheelchair and ODB making him laugh, and then he goes, "Man, when that ice cream truck came around, that toasted almond." He goes, "The coconut joints, ha!" And like the fact that this guy who has created some of the most powerful, painful, indelible, terrifying, rap around is able to just remember like the vibe when the Mr. Softy truck came around and his order. He goes, "Oh, strawberry shortcake, coconut joints, ha!" And I think that's kind of what we wanted to key in on, right? Like, there's a whole bunch of the population that has no connection to the 80s, so we got to have really dope food for them, good history or a good story. Everyone else can vibe on the nostalgia. So for me, so the point I'm trying to make is that everyone has these indelible connections to these different foods, and I think that we have to, for the 80s, like I said, Fort Collins, we all walked around going, "Oh my God, I had that lunchbox. Airwolf. That's Peggy Bundy's necklace from Married with Children. That's the bike from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. That's, Mr. T's cereal or Planters cheese balls." Like all that. And you're going and you know what the thing was? It's not so much that we're killing ourselves. It's that flavors had to change because of the health stuff with it. And so McDonald's French fries used to be fried in beef fat, beef tallow. So they had one flavor, one smell. And now they have something else. So we went to a food lab in your old hood in the Bay called Yay area. Called I hear E40's gonna call me in the back. What'd you say? Did you mention come on? He's like, "You mentioned the low quart tree? You mentioned that low quart tree?" He was I would get something like this. He said, "I'm from the V. But no, so the thing
Yeah,
that
so
they
y'all went
did
to a
was
food lab in the Bay, and they
right,
what did
and
they
so
do?
they recreated everything from the original '80s microwave popcorn, which you recall used to have to be in the freezer section. They recreated the beef fat French fry, and you realize that food did taste better in the '80s because we had a little more freedom to use real sugar, real fats. Then we switched to a lot of synthetic stuff. The difference is now we're kind of come through the tunnel at the other side of it. And now you have to have a vegan option, a paleo option, a vegetarian option, a kosher option. And back in the 80s, like you were lucky if you had, some without cheese. And it's dope. The thing that I love about being on history is that you realize like all the chicken stuff, McNuggets 83, chicken tenders 86, OG chicken sandwich at BK. That's not because they were innovating. The ranchers, the U.S. ranchers in the 70s carried a ton of debt into the 80s, and they ended up selling off a ton of their cows. So because beef was more expensive, they all pivoted. And so that's why it's like, chicken? Sure. And that's why chicken started popping off everywhere. So it's that's the stuff that I think is kind of cool. You actually learn the why of that shit's happening.
You better sell the hell out of your show, Adam Richman.
Yo, he just killed it. I'm watching this. Adam Eats the 80s, premiering Sunday, February 27th. Make sure you're watching that. Adam Eats the 80s. Hey, man, what's your top? And that's going to be on the History Channel.
Yeah.
What's your top 5 foods from the 80s? Top 5.
I'm glad you asked. So these are not in any particular order, but these are not necessarily in the show. I would say the BK original chicken sandwich, the OG chicken sandwich, slightly spicy one on the bun.
That Burger King? Is that we talking Burger King?
BK,
Hold the pickle, hold the lettuce, special sauces, don't forget.
Don't upset us. Yeah. They had the home of the Whopper. That's right. But they did they had the right your way right away at Burger King now.
Do it your way.
Exactly.
You see, by the
way, I got to throw one random factoid in because I know Sway always is down with the random facts. This is like good water cooler trivia. So the other show, the one that's on right before Adam Eats the 80s, which is called Food That Built America, we do Famous Amos and Mrs. Fields. So Mrs. Fields from Palo Alto. But Wally Amos was an agent at William Morris, and I kind of knew that. I did not know he discovered Simon and Garfunkel, and the first 3 people who gave him money for the Famous Amos franchise were Helen Reddy, Bill Cosby, and Marvin Gaye. They wrote the first big.
Bill Cosby was giving a lot of checks out, bro.
Damn.
He supported black business and the black community, man. He was
and nobody helped. It didn't count later.
Jesus.
Yo, Famous Amos cookies were legendary, but Mrs. Fields was from the Bay.
Woo! Yep, Palo Alto.
Yeah,
so 80s food. So I would say the OG McDonald's French fries that were the beef fat fries, the BK chicken sandwich. I would say microwave popcorn. It was really created in the 80s, just what it did and the convenience. Hostess pudding pies. They were like short-lived, so it had that shell, that like glazed pastry death shell that you could drop from the Empire State Building. It wouldn't break. Inside it was pudding, and it was the chronic. That was like it was also more calories you need in a week, but it was like a Schedule 1 narcotic. That was incredible.
And you could use the shell. I don't know if you knew this. This is a bit of trivia too. You could use the shell from those Hostess pudding pies. You could actually use the shell as a cup holder if you didn't want to. You didn't know that?
It's a koozie. And also, I don't know, like I'm just trying to come off the dome on this one. Maybe like the Reggie bar, the Reggie Jackson candy bar.
What is that?
I actually bought one off of eBay. I didn't have to eat it, but they were like a round Baby Ruth with marshmallow, if I recall.
Wow.
And I was a huge Reggie Jackson fan. Huge. Yeah. And randomly, my first Little League team was the Yankees, and my next one was the Angels. So I was like number 44.
What about the A's, though, bro? I only ate them because of the Oakland A's when he played for the A's. Yeah, I didn't eat it because of the Yankees and the Angels. The Reggie Jackson bar, Tracy, was a bar that was made after Reggie Jackson, the famous baseball player, Mr. October. Random fact. Random fact.
Wow,
we're doing our random trivia.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. Reggie Jackson's sister, Tina, who's married to Tony. Good friends of my family, has a
Wow.
daughter named Alex, who married Dwayne. And they had three kids, and one of them is named Justin, a.k.a. Jay Walt, who we know
What?
as the MC, and Reggie Jackson is his uncle.
What the hell?
No way.
Reggie Jackson is Jay Walt, the rapper from the Bay. That's his uncle.
That
Who's
is
that?
crazy.
Yo, you gotta call Sway
I'm
onto
gonna
the
find
show,
out,
Adam.
like low key, like Mac Dre is related to like John McEnroe now or something like that.
Well, it's
Like-
funny you bring that up. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah,
But
so
you know,
that's
that's- Oh no, I was just gonna say I didn't eat the old Reggie bar, but on this show I do actually eat some of those. I know you like that drama sometimes. Like I did try like a 41-year-old Star Wars cookie from 1983 and the original high C ecto cooler from the original OG juice box. And these were such
Word.
bad ideas. They were such bad
Yo.
ideas.
how did your body react to it?
Right.
We'll see it.
Yeah, you'll see. Well, so I practiced the Jew craft, and it was Yom Kippur, and the first thing I ate that day was a 41-year-old cookie, and we were doing the whole. This guy has the Guinness Book of World Records largest Star Wars collection in the world, in Petaluma. And it's called Rancho Obi-Wan. And so we were recreating the whole Star Wars meal, and we had the blue milk like Luke does in the first movie. And so they have the light side and the dark side. The light side of the vanilla cookies and all the good characters, and the dark side's the chocolate and the bad characters. And the vanilla one smelled like Formica. So I was like, pardon me, but fuck that. And then I tried the chocolate one, and I was like, well, it smells a little chocolatey. And I took a bite of Darth Vader's head, and the dude who runs the museum is looking at the package. I'm like, there's some old oil in that, is it? He goes, maybe some shortening. He goes, oh, wait a minute. There's eggs and butter. I'm like, yep, 41-year-old eggs, 41-year-old butter. And at that moment, my stomach, so help me, makes like a Chewbacca noise that's so loud you can hear it on camera. Like my mic picks up this really unattractive, like, oh, like,
Wow.
and my camera guy had to put the mic down. The only one that was really rough was the high C ecto cooler juice box, because all that aluminum coating on the inside of the juice box degraded. And
Yeah.
the dude whose house it was, he ran off camera and puked twice.
Of course.
Wow, man.
Sorry to
I bet
blow up your spot, Bo.
You probably blew up a lot of spots that day drinking that 40-year-old milk. Well, listen, man. Hey, congratulations. You know what I love about you, Adam? You're always as excited as you were the first time talking
Yeah.
about your projects, and you always
Thank
do
you,
quality work. And it's just in this quick conversation, we found out so much information.
Yeah.
Adam Eats the 80's premiering Sunday, February 27 at 10, and the food that built America is
Season 3.
Sunday, from at 9 on the History Channel. So you're getting the double dosage of Adam Richman.
Love it.
Keep getting
Love
paid,
y'all.
Adam. Love you too, brother.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Continued
Bye. Stay
success,
in
man.
touch, man.
All
Continued
right.
success to all y'all.
And
And
blessings to your
good
family.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Prayers
Thank you
and
both
love
very
and strength
much.
to your family. And then
Thank
next
you.
time
Blessings to all
I'll
the
have you.
citizens.
Next time I'll have you recite some bars like I normally do, but we'll get it next time. I know you
Yes,
do
sir.
also ask. All right,
Yes, sir.
all right.
I was
Salute
ready.
to you, brother.
I was ready.
I know. Adam Richman, y'all. All right.
Adam.
Peace.